So I wanted to do something different with this video. I know that I typically do chapter analysis, but being really hyped up for the time skip coming up in the next chapter, I wanted to go through the list of characters that were shown and kind of give my take on predictions for where their magic is going to be going. So I hope you guys enjoy this kind of more casual and long form video, and be sure to let me know in the comments exactly what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, and if you'd like to see more things like this in the future. Hello everyone, I'm Ozzy, and this is my Black Clover time skip prediction. So starting off, I wanted to talk about Asta and everyone else that's currently at the Heart Kingdom. First off, I wrote some notes here. I'm not really going by any kind of script or anything like that, but I have some kind of cliff notes, and I hope you guys mind there's not going to be all that much visual representation in this video. It's just kind of going to be some panels, maybe some pictures and things like that, and it's mostly going to just be me talking. But for Asta, the two things that I had written down were kind of things that I noticed in regards to his fight with Rolopechica. The first thing being that he was just completely overwhelmed by the water spirit's magic. Rather than being able to dispel the magic or counter the magic as he typically has been able to do, this time he was just completely overwhelmed. So my first prediction for Asta is, like I said, maybe it was the last video, I have no idea what video it was, but I said that I think that Asta is going to develop a kind of his own version of the Mana Zone, being kind of an anti-magic zone. So I think that that would really help him in being able to counteract these just overwhelming forces that someone like Rill or the Heart Kingdom princess was able to do. The second thing that I noticed, especially in regards to his fight with Rolopechica, is Rolopechica, I don't know which one it is. I think the official translation is Rolopechica, so I'll say that. But he was disarmed, not necessarily had his sword taken from him, but she kind of used that to her advantage. She grabbed him by the arm and kind of just toyed around with him. So my second prediction for Asta is that I think he's going to develop a fighting style or a kind of a more refined sword technique. I think that that would really help him in regards to being able to defend himself in the future from people kind of from disarming him or going through his weak spots, which is his non-magical body. So that's all for Asta. In regards to Noelle, I had a couple things written here. Let's see. The first thing is I believe she's going to develop a more refined form for her Valkyrie dress. Asta has kind of refined his black mode. I'm sure that Yuno at this point has refined his spirit dive. And so I think that the next obvious step is that Noelle is going to refine her Valkyrie dress. Maybe it's being able to use it more efficiently and waste less mana, not that she really needs it because she has just a ridiculous reserve. But there are a couple other things, not just a refined form. I believe she's finally going to develop Mana Zone. I'm surprised that she hadn't. It makes sense considering her trouble with just learning in general, but I believe that she's at that point where she should be ready and able to do Mana Zone at this point. It kind of, because I was looking at the fight with Gaja, and I was kind of thinking about how if she had Mana Zone, she would have had a far better chance because she kind of caught him off guard, and with Mana Zone, you're kind of able to already do that. So another thing, and I think this is a really big thing, is that Noelle has great defense and she has great offense, but something that she doesn't have is kind of more small scale attacks. Yes, she has her Valkyrie dress, and that is a good kind of, she can swing her lance around or whatever that is, I guess it's her arm or her lance. But something that's kind of more smaller scale, like what I thought about is like if she was just able to fire like rapid fire icicles or something like that. If she was just able to do something that she could kind of spam, it would really help her out, especially if she had Mana Zone. The last thing in regards to Noelle, and I kind of added this last minute, is possibly runemanship. considering that they're in the Heart Kingdom, I don't really think that everyone is going to be able to learn runemanship or maybe have the capability of learning runemanship, but she is someone that I believe is possibly going to be able to. At the very least, I think that runemanship would really help in her being able to control her magic, because although she does have Valkyrie dress, it is kind of a technical case where she's just packing her water in on top of her body, and she hasn't really made that big of a step in regards to controlling her magic better, in regards to her other spells. I mean, well, I will say this, she did a really good job of, like, using her, Dragon's Nest, I think it's called, on, Finral in the Gaja fight, and she has used that in the past, but kind of, when you take into consideration how, like, kind of, high speed everything was going down, and she's able to defend Finral, so quickly, I think that was very impressive. But that's all that I have to say about Noelle. So next up, I have Mimosa, and there are a few things, and they're kind of more hard to talk about in regards to Mimosa. I believe that she needs a more refined offense, definitely. I think her laser, I don't have a list in front of me right now, so I don't remember what her kind of flower laser is called. But if she could kind of learn to refine that, maybe a smaller scale beam, but she can control it like Gaja was able to control his lightning blast, or something like that, or maybe just another offensive spell. I think that would be another way. That would be a way that she could improve. Another way that I believe that kind of really needs to be improved is her flower kimono. I can't remember, Princess Flower Kimono or something like that. The ability is great, but I've kind of noticed this pattern where Mimosa kind of is consistently getting attacked, and I believe that if she had some kind of way of kind of improving her kimono where it had like an auto defense where like thorns come up if someone tries to attack her. I know that it already does have magic defense, like it's good for defending against magic attacks, but she's constantly getting blasted anyway, so if she could refine that where it just was sturdier, I think that's one thing that she should definitely have at least upgraded, even if her time skip potential and evolution goes in a completely different direction. Kind of in that same regard, I believe that she needs more utility overall. In regards to the next three people, Mimosa, Nero, and Finral, I believe that they're all kind of utility mages. They're support, they're not really offense, so they definitely need more utility. I think Mimosa, out of the three of them, has the most utility, where she has offense, she has healing, she has scouting, and I can't really give a pinpoint, but I think that at the very least my prediction is she's going to develop more ways to utilize her magic, her natural plant-based magic. And then considering her experience with runemanship already, she's another person that I have down as I believe that she is going to learn runemanship. No matter what, if no one else learns it, I'm putting my money down that Mimosa will at least have runemanship by the end of this time skip. So I guess next chapter. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about Mimosa. So next up we have Nero, and as I said, the Mimosa, Nero, and Finral, they kind of need more ways to utilize their magic because they're kind of supports. So when I say that they need more utility, it's kind of like me saying they're going to use their magic in ways that we probably won't be able to predict. And they're going to have multiple kind of uses for their magic. It's not just going to be teleporting. It's not just going to be locking or unlocking. It's not just going to be plants. It's going to be more scouting magic. It's going to be more teleporting bullets, things like that. So for Nero, I believe she's going to have more utility for her magic. I don't think she's just going to be like some kind of beef class where she can lockpick and sleight of hand and things like that, but that she's going to have something that's kind of out of our scope of prediction. One thing that I have predicted for her is the ability to lock someone's magic or disabling someone's magic. What comes to mind if you play Overwatch at all is someone like Sombra, where they're able to just hack somebody, and she's able to stop them from being able to use their magic for a limited amount of time. Maybe that's already been shown. I wasn't able to really go back and look at her chapters. I looked at everyone else's magical feats. I don't know why I didn't go back and look at hers. Yeah, that's all I had to say about Nero. So in regards to Finral, I only have two things written down. My predictions are that he's going to have a kind of autofill like Langris, but not auto. That kind of sounds dumb. I guess I should say he's going to have a kind of invisible field of teleporting magic, maybe something that he can put around someone or put around just his allies so that things that come in get teleported out, but he kind of can walk around with it and people can leave that field or go as he allows. The second thing is a more refined, I can't remember the name of his spell, but it's called something flapping. The teleporting missiles. I believe he's going to use that in another way, possibly being able to further direct it, just have a better understanding of allocating his mana so that he can use it more frequently. But yeah, that's all that I really had to say about Finral. So now we kind of jump to the mages that they showed that weren't part of the people in the Heart Kingdom. These are people like Leopold, Rill, Charmy, etc. So first off, starting with Leopold, I kind of wrote down some negatives because there's not really anything to go off of. He's only used, if I recall correctly, one spell, and it's like called Flame Spiral, and it's just a blast of fire. That's pretty boring in my opinion, and I kind of wrote down that he doesn't really have a sense of identity, so I think we're finally going to see that sense of identity with Leopold in this time skip. The next thing that I wrote down was that something that I didn't really think about until making this video is that he's probably, I should preface it with this, of the next generation, that being people like Mimosa, Noel, Finral is also another noble. Of the next generation of nobles, I believe that Leopold probably has the best foundation. Like, he has been around his brother and sister, he's trained with them, he has a kind of fundamental understanding of magic, and that kind of gives him an edge to be able to do more with his magic as he kind of learns new ways to utilize it. So, kind of like with Frieza in Dragon Ball Super, where Frieza wasn't strong because, from a technical perspective, technically wasn't strong because Frieza had never trained before, but if Frieza was able to train, then they would be really powerful. I kind of look at Leopold in the same way, and I think that's how this time skip is going to impact him. Next up we have Rill, and Rill is kind of a hard one to talk about because I went back and I looked at all of the chapters where he fought, and the first time you see him fighting is in the you see him going up against Gildra to like imprison him, but all the mages or the captains kind of do something in that regard. But Rill is fighting in the tournament, the selection tournament, and he's able to use everything, like every element. And then the next time you see him, he's the elf Rill, and he's using all of this ridiculous magic, and it's like this nightmare land, and it's kind of like, well, he can do everything. So, where can we go from here? Why is Rill getting a time skip boost when there's really no next step? And the conclusion that I came to is kind of simple. It's probably what everyone has predicted at this point, but I believe that the only real next step, unless he actually does get some kind of evolution to his magic, is two things. The first being maturity. He's far too mature, and that is probably his hugest downside. Not just his biggest downside, his hugest downside is his immaturity. It will definitely come back to bite him every single time, and I believe that that's something that this time skip is going to help him work on in some regard. I don't think he's going to like do a complete about face in regards to his personality, just like how I don't think luck is ever going to change, and we're going to talk about him later, but I believe that he's going to kind of learn that there's a time and place to play around, and he's going to become more responsible as a captain. The second thing I have to say about Rill is I believe, going in that same vein as being more responsible as a captain, I believe he's going to become more strategic in his uses of magic. It's kind of hard to imagine this because it's kind of just up to what Tabata wants to do with Rill's magic, but I believe he's going to think more about placement and utilizing magic, because he kind of already does think about like, oh, well, they're using this kind of magic, I'm going to use this kind of magic to counter it. But if you were able to kind of just develop his education of strategy a little more, I believe it would make him a far more formidable threat. I know people were making the tiers in the summer sometime, and they were saying that like Rill is probably a tier or a B tier because of his immaturity, but I believe that these two things would definitely put him in that S tier. So next up we have Charmy, and as I went back and I read through especially her kind of awakening fight where she was fighting against Rill in her dwarf hybrid form, two things came to mind. The first thing was I realized she didn't really use magic after she ate all of Rill's spells. Instead, she just reinforced her body. Like in the same way that in recent chapters, Mimosa and Noelle did like the reinforced jump and they like jump super far away. That's basically what Charmy was doing with her magic. She was just doing that but with punches. She was eating all this mana, or eating all this magic, and had this deep reserve of mana and just made her punches stronger. So there's kind of two directions, and I'm hoping, considering she's kind of a main character, I guess you could say she's a secondary character, because she's not really shown that much going on missions and things like that. I hope that this arc changes that, but I believe she's going to go in two different there's two different directions to take it, and I hope that it's combined. But the first thing is conditioning, training her body more, being able to give more impactful punches, kicks, etc. when she does take all of that mana into herself, because this would make her an absolute monster. I believe it said somewhere that Yami is the strongest physically as a mage. I'm assuming Asta is like right below that, but this would definitely put Charmy up there as someone that can compete with those two, if she isn't already. I mean, who can really say, especially with how much mana or magic she ate. The second thing would be being able to combine both her sheep magic with her meal magic, because it's been shown before that she can like punch with her sheep and things like that, and like that she has the like defensive stuff with her sheep. So maybe if she ate all that mana and then ate all that magic and she punched with her sheep, that would be a lot stronger, I'm assuming, or different things like that. And definitely I would definitely love to see more of her sheep magic and more things that she could do with her meal magic. I'm assuming at this point, considering how Tabata is, because he typically doesn't just like drag things out, he typically just says, nope, this is a thing now. Just like how Noelle didn't really have to go through the process of figuring out how to use Valkyrie dress again after she learned how to do it. She was just able to do it. Granted, that's kind of how the grimoires work. I believe she's just going to be able to go into this form at will, especially after this time skip. So I don't think it's necessarily something that we have to say, well, we'll wait and see until they talk about it more. I believe it's just going to be a thing in her arsenal now. So next we get to Charlotte, and this one's pretty simple. I'm sorry that I don't really have much more to say about it, because she has a lot of different types of magic to use. So I believe that the way that this time skip is going to affect her is it's essentially going to put her in the tier 0 territory, in case you didn't already have there. The way that I saw Charlotte is that she was kind of a strong captain, and definitely not the weakest, but she wasn't up there with people like Yami or Julius, or let's even throw William and Nozel. Like, I would say that they're definitely stronger than her. I believe that this time skip is going to make her an equal. Yeah, that's really all I had to say about Charlotte. Next, I want to talk about Luck, and I went back and I looked at all of his fights, especially in regards to his elf form fight, and there wasn't really that much to take away from it. He's fast and he has his thunderclap. I mean, there was like a kicking move that he had in the selection tournament, but there's not really all that much magic from him. He has his armor, he has his thunderclap, is fast. So I definitely believe that there's going to be more spells from him, more ways to use his magic, especially, well, I'll save that for last. So, I believe he's going to get faster. I believe he's going to be on the same level, if not at least with the comprehension of Elf Luck. I believe he's going to have spammable thunderclaps like Elf Luck. I believe he's going to have that speed boost like Elf Luck. And one thing that I hope, and one thing that I believe is definitely going to happen, I hope that there are some takeaways from him viewing that fight between the Diamond Kingdom mages and the Spade Mage. I hope that there was like something crazy that he saw the Spade Mage use that he wants to kind of incorporate into his magic, considering the battle maniac that he has. Maybe he saw something new. And then one thing that I am confident is definitely going to happen is I believe that Gaja is going to teach him how to use true lightning magic. What that means? I don't know. Maybe there is some kind of way to draw in natural mana and utilize that to extend your damage or extend your speed or extend your range, etc. But I believe that he's definitely going to learn how to use true lightning magic as we see him fight in the coming chapter and in the coming arc. Moving on to the last mage that was shown that isn't part of the main cast of Heart Kingdom, we have Zora, who, in case I didn't make it aware, is my favorite character in Black Clover. There are some others that I really love, but Zora's probably my favorite. I really want to make a video about my favorite chapter of Black Clover, which involves Zora. You guys probably already know which one it is, but that's something that's kind of distant in the future. Haven't really had time to do it, but anyways, Zora. So, it would kind of be disingenuous of me to talk about Zora and not talk about the thread that I saw on Reddit earlier today. So I want to just kind of go through that, give that guy credit, because it has been on my mind, but I also had some other ideas for Zora. So in this video by Zimka, and I'll put a link and I'll kind of give you guys a caption of the thread as well. It says, Zora's weakness is his need for prep time. In the first tournament fight and in the Silva fight, he needed to set up traps all around. When he rescued Marileona and Asta, his second trap spell was hastily drawn and as a result could barely hold the mana of 5 elves. Now, I kind of disagree with that because, I mean, to be able to hold the mana of 5 elves is a crazy feat, and if that's all he's barely able to do with a hastily drawn one, then he's plenty powerful enough. But anyways, goes on to say that is why I don't think in the ensuing power creep he can still afford to do that. They will be invading / infiltrating the Spade Kingdom after all. So how does he get around this? Just like how Noelle uses a wand as a medium to fire off her spells because of her control issue, Zora might also get a medium for his prep issues. And I arrived at cards because they fit the motif and they're small enough to fit somewhere in Zora's form-fitting costume. Zora has shown that he can put his traps anywhere, so instead of hastily drawing a trap spell like he did with the 5 elves, why not activate a trap card? It rids Zora of the issue of being defenseless after his full body trump card, and he won't worry about a trap stability anymore because he's drawn perfect traps on them. And come on, who can resist Zora saying, "You've activated my trap card"? So Zimka makes some very good points, and I definitely agree that would be a really cool thing. Even if they weren't cards, they were pieces of paper or scroll or whatever they have in Black Clover universe. I think that's definitely a possibility, and I'd be disingenuous to kind of say that it's my own idea or to not bring it up at all, because it has been on my mind. The link to that thread is going to be below if you want to see. Maybe he's made more thread theories, I have no idea. But going into some things that I believe Zora is going to have, the first thing is self-insight. I believe that one of the strongest things with Zora is his ability to have insight into other people. And as anyone that is capable of criticizing others, they're typically really hard on themselves as well. Some people are just kind of jerks and they just criticize people, but most people that are kind of big critics, for myself, for example, like I criticize shows all the time, but that's because I'm a really big critic on myself as well. So I believe that there's going to be a lot of self-insight, and he's already going to know some ways in which he could kind of maximize his input, etc. And he's going to develop those things without the training. With the training, I believe that there is definitely going to be runemanship. Of all the people, I believe that it probably helps him the most. Well, no. I will say that it helps Noelle the most, but he's probably going to use it the most efficiently. I'll say it that way. He's the type of person that pre-plans things and gives out the orders and just strategizes things probably the most out of every character we've talked about so far. And I definitely believe that if he's in the Heart Kingdom, runemanship would just boost his power level exponentially. I also, kind of like with Nero and with the other utility mages, believe that he's going to just have some utility magic that we weren't really able to think of, or just unconventional methods of newly using his magic. So, not gonna lie, I completely forgot about Yuno. So, to give my quick thought on Yuno, who is kind of hard of a character to kind of predict or capture, is I believe that if you were to kind of predict where he's going to be going in this time skip, and like if we were to just project his ability and his scale, I definitely believe he's going to be captain level by this time skip or this new arc. And it's kind of hard to say, because he's been shown to just be able to kind of, in that prodigal way, see someone's magic and kind of copy it and use it in his own kind of way. So it's hard to really see him using his own magic. If he wanted to use his own magic, then he would just use his own magic. He's used wind creation magic before, he's used just plain wind magic before, he has his spirit magic, and he has him on his own. So I definitely believe that he's going to have more spirit magic spells, whatever that means. I really hope he gets to meet Rolopechica, and I doubt that will kind of be skipped if that's something that actually ends up happening. If there's more spirit content to be discussed, I doubt that Tabata is going to be skipping that. So if I were to really give my say on the matter, I don't know, but I believe that it's going to be focused on his spirit. I hope there's other wind stuff to do. Maybe there's true wind magic. I believe firmly that there's going to be true of every natural element magic. As for what that even entails, it's kind of hard to say. As I said with luck, maybe true magic is just using natural mana in addition to your own mana. I said that when we first saw true natural magic as well, so maybe that's what that is. Before I close out this video, there's one other mage that we needed to talk about, and that character is Gordon. I believe that Gordon is definitely going to level up exponentially in this time skip, but no, I'm kidding. Sol Marin, man, she is useless. It's really sad that we don't really get to see that many other Blue Rose mages, because Sol has just been doing a terrible job of representing them. And no, this isn't a Sol hate video, this is a Sol love video. I want to see her succeed because I think she has a really cool character design, and although I'm not really all that fond of her mud magic, I think that it can go places. I think that she could make it cool. In regards to Sol's growth specifically, especially considering she wasn't really shown, so who knows if she's actually going to grow, but she did have that foundation for growth in the selection exam, where Zora kind of lectures everybody and points out their weaknesses. For Sol specifically, Zora pointed out that she is unrefined, so I definitely believe she's going to be refining her magic, but that can kind of be said about everyone, but especially I believe she's going to really think hard about how her magic works and how she can better utilize it. I honestly think that the coolest thing she's ever done is when Mimosa blasted off the arm of her golem, and then she kind of utilized that momentum of the arm to hold Mimosa down with her arm, and she kind of converted it into an imprisoning spell. So I thought that was really cool, and that's just kind of one way. But the other thing is that Zora points out that she needs to give her golem more thought, and she needs to better think about how to utilize it. So I believe that the hand example is a good step in the right direction, and the next time we see Sol, she's definitely going to be doing more stuff like that. A bigger golem, a cooler looking golem design, maybe being able to change its form to better suit whatever she needs it to do. Maybe thinner when she needs it to dodge attacks, or sleeker when she needs it to be fast, or bulkier when she wants to do a really hard hitting attack. But I believe that she's going to be developing her golem and really putting thought into her golem. I don't want to say that I doubt we'll see the multiple golems again, but I definitely think that that's the wrong direction for her. She's very simple-minded. I don't expect her to get very strategic. I expect her to just kind of be her best self. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys didn't mind the kind of colloquial and long form and long-winded kind of discussion / prediction. Let me know what you guys thought about it, especially if you want to see it again, like the video, etc. Because I really don't know. I mean, if you guys don't want to see this, then I don't want to make it again. Obviously, it's kind of a lot easier to produce. I don't really have to make a script or anything like that, and like I said, there's not going to be as like 50,000 panels like I usually have to do, so I don't have to work too hard on that, and I just have to work on talking and thinking about what I'm going to say in my thoughts to the voice thing. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys want to see in the time skip. It's going to be happening a few days from now, and I'm super hyped about it. I really hope that it isn't a Spade Kingdom invasion. I want that to be held off for like the next big arc. I want it to kind of be a skirmish. I don't want us to be done with the Spade Kingdom just yet. I do believe that if we are done with the Spade Kingdom, then we're going to be talking more about like the other worlds and things like that, but I think all that's going to come in due time, and that we should kind of pull back a little bit, Tabata, kind of let everything stick for a little bit, but who's to say? Anyways, like the video, subscribe, do all that stuff, and until next video,